My name is Jade Mcintosh, and my adopted daughter is Ashley Uhas. Ashley is biologically my niece, and when she was 6 years old, I was a college kid living with my grandma because her house was up the road from the University of Toledo. My brother and his wife, Ashley's biological parents, were living in Colorado, were both using drugs and alcohol, and had gotten evicted from their 6th residence. My brother asked me and Grandma if we'd let Ashley stay with us for the summer while they looked for a new place, found jobs, and got back on their feet. We agreed, and Ashley came to stay with us. Almost immediately, we knew something was different about Ashley. For one thing, she never stopped moving. Not ever. Standing in one place was impossible, and sitting, forget it. Even in her sleep, when she did sleep, she didn't stop moving. Worse than that, she had no idea what space her body took up or where she was in relationship to people or objects. She ran into things constantly and couldn't get across the room without tripping or falling down. She was this tiny, unstoppable force of nature. She would run at people to hug them or greet them and literally knock them over. All I could do was get out of her way and hold on for the ride the best I could. Ashley was supposed to stay with me for 3 months, but she ended up staying with me for life. One Friday afternoon, after she'd been with me about 2 weeks, she was playing outside and wouldn't stay in our front yard. I was sitting on the front step, keeping an eye on her, and finally had enough of trying to wrangle her in. And if you're a parent, you know what I mean by the word wrangle. I put her on the porch and locked the screen door. In the time it took me to turn around, walk into the living room, and ask Grandma what she wanted me to take out of the freezer for dinner, Ashley had decided to cross the street, had figured out how to unlock the porch door, had run across the lawn and right into the path of a full-size van that hit her head on. See, Ashley has no impulse control, and this disability had proved to be the most dangerous. She would have a thought and she would just be gone. Ultimately, her leg was broken in 3 places, and the growth plate in her ankle and knee were both shattered. At the hospital, a never-ending parade of doctors, nurses, caseworkers, and representatives from social services came to see us. As it turned out, there was a lot more wrong with Ashley than I first realized. Even though she was 6 years old, medical professionals said her body was like that of a 4-year-old. They said she had suffered from long-term malnutrition and neglect, and her growth was slowed way down. With this information, I sought and received temporary custody, then full custody, and finally adopted Ashley when she was 8 years old. The next few years were very hard. They were a blur of doctor's appointments and meetings at school. Ashley's little body eventually healed, and she could walk again unaided. And through lots of research and help from her doctors, we started to understand some of Ashley's physical and learning disabilities. Ashley was making some progress, and we were starting to find some accommodations for her to help her learn. But life, especially school, was extremely difficult. When Ashley was in the 5th grade, she started getting suspended from school on a regular basis because the school had an accumulating demerit system, so she was constantly getting demerits for not sitting still, talking out of turn, disrupting class, not finishing her work, that kind of stuff. In desperation, I turned to Ashley's psychiatrist, Dr. Nancy Carroll, who is here today and is also serving on the Double Arc board. Hi, Dr. Carroll. They put her in the back because she's a troublemaker. Anyway, we needed to figure out how to stop Ashley from getting suspended all the time. The nature of her disabilities did not fit into any specific diagnosis. So Dr. Carroll referred me to Double Arc, and Ashley went through their intake process and evaluation. Next, I started attending the Triumph classes taught at Double Arc, and Ashley and I started going to parent support group so I could talk with the other parents and so she could play with the other kids. And parent support group is a lifesaver. It's a true lifeline. Okay, so I have to tell you this one story that's a perfect example of how wonderfully the Sisters of Double Arc handle Ashley. At the end of parent support group, the kids would come running up the hall from where they were playing to where the parents were meeting. And this one night, Ashley was running full out, racing an older boy up this long hall. Sister Suzette was standing there in their path, but she didn't back away as Ashley ran up to hug her. Instead, the sister took one step to the side to get out of Ashley's trajectory, put her hands on Ashley's shoulders, turned her around, and gently cupped Ashley's face. And she said in the most soft, loving voice, "Ashley, I want to hug you goodbye, but you need to stand still first." That moment was magical. Ashley stopped moving for a few seconds and relaxed into the hug. This is just one of many examples of what I learned at Double Arc. They taught me how to handle Ashley better, and they gave me the words to teach other people about Ashley and how to help her learn. My girl is extremely bright, curious, creative, and fun, but she had all these disability roadblocks keeping her from being herself and from learning. Double Arc taught us how to step around the roadblocks so Ashley could learn, grow, advocate for herself, and like the person she is. The most important thing they taught me was how to write an individual education plan, or IEP, that would ensure all of her disabilities and behaviors were addressed effectively and appropriately so she could be successful. Double Arc gave me the words to explain Ashley to people in a way that made clear, simple sense and made them sympathetic to what she goes through every day rather than being afraid of what they don't know or don't understand. They gave me other parents to swap ideas with and to vent my frustration to. In short, they gave us a simpler, better life, full of creative tools to work around Ashley's disabilities. So what is Ashley up to now? When Ashley was 13, I married an amazing man who accepts, understands, and loves Ashley just as she is. He's been a true father to her. We love you, Adam. Our girl is a 2014 high school graduate, and a couple of the sisters from Double Arc attended her graduation party. She even passed the Ohio graduation exam as a sophomore in high school, and the only accommodation she needed was to have the test read out loud to her because her listening comprehension is much higher than her reading skills. Double Arc suggested that to me too. After high school, Ashley took a job at the local McDonald's. In her first year, she went from part-time to full-time and was promoted to kitchen crew trainer. Ashley loves working in the kitchen and teaching others how to do it. She does not love smelling like French fries, but our dogs think she smells delicious. After 2 years, she was promoted to kitchen shift manager, and it's her responsibility to make sure her team of 6 are doing their jobs and following all the food safety rules. Ashley is now 21 years old, and back in June, she moved into her first apartment by herself. She now lives 3 minutes away from my husband and me. Her apartment looks just like her, with lots of bright colors, tons of plants, books, and very high-heeled shoes and dirty laundry everywhere, and of course, a cat. Ashley doesn't drive, but she rides her bike or walks. She still needs more help, guidance, and support than her peers, but she's doing well. All I ever wanted for Ashley was for her to be a happy, healthy, productive member of society, and Double Arc helped us achieve these goals. Ashley just would not be the success she is without Double Arc and the Sisters of Notre Dame. Thank you.